We're from the town with the great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hey guys, welcome to Picksburgh. My name is Anthony. I appreciate you joining me for another one of these sports card investing videos. Today, guys, I want to talk about something that you don't hear too much in regards to investing in sports cards or making money off of sports cards. That's junk wax, guys. Junk wax is considered to be the cards that came out in the 80s and 90s, that time frame where everything was super mass produced. So with that being said, let's dive into a few things that you can do to find some value and make some money in what most people consider to be valueless market. Do me a favor, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and also that bell notification so that you'll be notified anytime I drop a new video, because I do drop videos 7 days a week on this channel, guys. I'd love for you to stay engaged. Also, if you would, drop a thumbs up on this because it lets YouTube know that I'm doing something good and it'll push this out to more people. But without further ado, guys, let me get into a few things that you should be looking out for in regards to junk wax. First thing you want to look for, guys, is rookies. And the nice thing is most rookie cards will actually say rookie on the card, or it'll have like a little RC logo somewhere. But back in the day, that wasn't always the case. For example, if you look into a lot of these 80s sets that are out there, especially in basketball, you have guys that have rookie cards. Like, for example, Michael Jordan, his rookie card is not in his rookie year. You know, there's a bunch of guys that have rookie cards that are not in their rookie year. So that's something to be mindful of. But you definitely want to identify rookie cards because those are essentially the most valuable card for the most part of each player. So if you can identify rookie cards, those are the first way to make money off of junk wax, is finding rookies. The next way is you want to look for Hall of Fame players. And being that this is the junk wax era, players that we're looking at, their careers are over. So it's really easy to know who's a Hall of Famer and who's not. So essentially you want to go through, you want to grab out all of those Hall of Fame players, you want to pull them aside, and you want to have them with your rookies. Next thing you want to do is you want to look into population. Now, population on a lot of these cards are going to be outrageous because there's so many of them. But back in the day, grading wasn't what it is today. So you can find a lot of value on these cards, like if you have anything that's numbered or rare, but if you have it graded as well, because being that there weren't as many people grading back then, there was a lot of people just throwing these into binders and stuff like that, not taking great care of cards back in the day like they do today. Because since the emergence of grading, guys, the way that we handle cards today for the most part is completely different than the way it was back then. Today, the way that we handle cards, it's like even the slightest thing could knock it down from a 10 to a 9. So that's an important thing to think about, guys, is the population. But as far as finding, you know, the PSA 10s, even the PSA 9s, that's becoming harder and harder in these sets for the rookies and the Hall of Fame players, guys. So that's why I say if you're able to identify those players, put them aside, anything that's in good condition, get it graded, because it really does help with the population. And it sets it kind of apart once you grade it, because it's no longer just something that's mass produced. Now it has a much better population. Next thing you really kind of want to look for, guys, is any kind of inserts. Now, today in the modern hobby, inserts aren't what they used to be. Back in the day, inserts were like kind of the mamma jamma. You know what I mean? Inserts were a lot bigger deal than I feel like they are right now. So inserts are a lot more valuable in the junk wax era. They're a lot more scarce just because, like I said, everything was so mass produced. So anything that is a shorter print is typically a little bit more valuable. So you definitely want to look into some of those inserts. There's a lot of value too, guys, if you can pick up entire insert sets, get those graded together. A buddy of mine, shout out to CVC, does a lot of sports card auctions, but he'll, you know, have entire insert sets graded that are pretty sweet. So inserts are another great thing to look out for as far as junk wax. The next thing I always look into, again, like I said, guys, is the condition is everything, because a lot of these cards aren't in great condition. So you really want to be diligent when you're trying to identify which cards are grading candidates and which ones are not. The other thing too to really look out for is sets. You want to go with your tops, the sets that hold weight, the sets that are valuable. You don't want to go to press passes and like all of these crazy, companies that didn't really survive to today. So you want to stick to some of the more well-known, popular companies. For example, I have tons of Shaq rookies in a classic, but I mean, classic does not hold value, but Shaq rookies in a tops, hoops, pretty much any of the other major sets does hold value. That's just a little bit of an example. You want to go with the sets that are well known, not the, fly-by-nights. That you want to stick to the major sets, especially with junk wax, guys. But that could be said really for anything across the hobby. The major sets are going to always produce the biggest return on your investment. Next thing that is super, super cool, guys, is error cards. Now, in today's market, when there's an error, it's basically just Panini doing something stupid and being like, you know what, I guess this guy doesn't really need a name, or yada, yada, yada. But back in the day when something like that would happen, it was a lot bigger of a deal, and it was a lot more valuable as well. And there's a few cards I kind of wanted to just throw out there. There's one of Billy Ripken that my buddy Paul Gate City Picker has, and it has an obscenity written on the bat, which makes it a lot more valuable because it's an error card. They actually printed that not realizing what the bat said on the bottom. So that's one of the cards that is added value because it's an error. Another one, there's an 87 Donruss Barry Bonds with another dude's picture on it. And I'll throw that one up for you as well. And it's just crazy like how much value it adds just because they did a dum-dum. So those are just a few of the error cards that I wanted to point out. And then there's another one that's kind of famous for all the wrong reasons. It's a card of Mark Jackson, but on that card it has the Menendez brothers, who I believe were murderers or something. They did something stupid, but yeah, that card is now valuable because it features them sitting courtside on the card. So those are some things to kind of look out for as far as junk wax. Another strategy you can take when looking into buying junk wax and stuff like that, you can buy people's entire collections, 80s and 90s cards, for like next to nothing, because people know that the majority of junk wax is garbage. You know what I mean? But there are cards in there that are very valuable if you find them. You know what I mean? There's Jordans, there's Kobe's, there's so many awesome players that were in those decades across all of the major sports, guys. So there's a lot of gems to be found. You just need to dig through a lot of the duds to get to them. So one thing you can do is you can buy out big collections. Another thing you can do is, for example, there are people I see with those investment lots all the time online, with like, say, 15 of somebody's rookie. Now, if you're buying 15, you're bound to hopefully at least get something that can gem out of there, or at least come close to it, so you're at least increasing your odds when you're buying more like that. But here's the thing, guys, you always want to be very diligent in studying the photos of each card on eBay. And if the seller doesn't have enough to like even show the back of the card, like I won't buy it if I can't see the back of the card, because you don't know what the edges, corners, or any of that stuff's going to look like once the card turns around. So for me, like I really want to study the pictures well. I've found that you can get better deals when you're buying stuff like that in bulk, because condition matters on some of this stuff, guys. But those are just some of the things I was racking my brain with when thinking about what would be the best way to share with newer people in the hobby, or people just getting back into the hobby that are going through their old collections, to kind of help them identify the cards that are valuable and stuff that they should be pulling out to either resell on eBay or to get graded or to just hold on to for long term. So those are the kind of things that I like to identify, guys. If you have any questions, do me a favor, just leave a comment down below. I'd be happy to answer any of those questions. We also have a Facebook group that myself and Nate Everyday I'm Hustlin co-manage. If you guys want to go and join that group, it's completely free of charge. We also do PSA submissions in that group and lots of other stuff. So would love for you to come be a part of that. And guys, also, I just want to remind you, we do a weekly auction every single Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys come out and check that out, because there's tons of awesome cards way below eBay value every single week. But guys, I appreciate you joining me for this video. Until the next one, may God bless, and I hope you take it easy.